Oh, to everybody who is watching us today, tonight, tomorrow, I don't know what time it is anymore in these times, but we're here today with Dr. Bruce Lipton and Rob Williams. Dr. Bruce Lipton as a representative of this magnificent new science of epigenetics and the author of The Biology of Belief, Spontaneous Evolution, and The Honeymoon Effect, and Rob Williams as the originator of PSYCH-K. So welcome both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And today we want to talk with both of you about this idea of how the mind can either be the source of enormous fear and terror, or it can be our best ally for our well-being and wellness. So we will be talking with each of you from your points of view of how we can shift from the fear that we're currently experiencing to being in love and gratitude and in well-being. So it's up to you now, Bruce. Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome all dear friends, cultural creators and seekers out there. And Rob and I are here today to give you some little information, a little bit positive information, thank goodness, about the situation we're in. And to start with, first, I really want to make a statement about the science of quantum physics. And the quantum physics right away, I know some people are going, oh no, quantum physics. Well, let me just say this as a fact. Quantum physics is the most valid science on planet Earth. It is the most tested and affirmed to be true. So of all the sciences, the one that has least questions would be quantum physics. And I say relevance to our topic today is the primary principle of quantum physics is that consciousness is creating our life experiences. Now, this is hard for a normal situation where people think, oh, my thoughts are creating my life world experiences. Well, that's the understanding from quantum physics. Biology has come along to support that very specifically in the field called epigenetics. And epigenetics is the science of how consciousness controls our genes rather than the conventional belief that genes control our life. We now know that consciousness is controlling our genetic activity. So I say, so what does this have to do with the current epidemic with the coronavirus 2019 or COVID-19? And the answer is this. Consciousness is going to determine the character of our life and how we interpret that consciousness. That the mind, as quantum physics says, is really the source of our creativity and the life experiences that we have. Now, in understanding the mind, the bigger problem that people have is that there are actually two minds. And if we don't separate them and just say the mind, then we're really missing a profound understanding. And it goes like this. The two minds consist of the most recent advance in development in neurobiology is the formation of what is called the conscious mind, which is really a lobe of brain tissue right behind your forehead. This is the center of self-consciousness. This is the center where what makes us unique from every other individual. This is our connection to spirituality is in this conscious mind. The other mind that was here before and is still here is called the subconscious mind. And the name automatically says subconscious, which means below conscious. These are programs that operate below our awareness level and continue to operate. And they're very important. A lot of them are basic. What's my heart rate? What's my body temperature? How's my digestive system working? I don't have to think about these things. Are all controlled underneath. But the subconscious mind also controls our behavior in many different ways. Okay, so here's the point. The conscious mind is creative. The subconscious mind is habit. The conscious mind has wishes and desires, all the things that we would love to see in our world. The subconscious mind, in contrast, has programs that are automatic and play themselves and repeat themselves over and over and over again as long as you maintain the program. Now, the subconscious mind isn't the center of all. The subconscious mind is profoundly important. Just to give you a simple example, when did you learn how to walk? Before you were 2. Guess what? Presumably almost all of you are still walking. You could be 100 years old. I go, yeah, but when did you learn how to walk? I said, the program was installed before 2. It's a habit. It will stay with your life until you change that habit. So the important part about subconscious as different from conscious is subconscious is a programmable mind. And once the programs are in, they resist change because if a habit would just change all the time, then it wouldn't be called a habit anymore. A habit resists change. So the point is this. Conscious mind is creative and can think of anything and generally represents where our wishes and desires come from. If I asked any of you out there, what do you want from your life, whatever it is, whether it's relationships, health, good job, or whatever it is, that's a creative thought, and it's what you would like. So this is where I would like to go. Conscious mind, subconscious mind. I said just straight programs, basically, and we learned them from growing up. And very many of these programs are profoundly important to allow us to have the life. I mean, if you had to wake up every day and say, how do I walk, and start all over again, you spend the whole day learning how to walk and then wake up the next day and go, how do I do that walking, and start all over. So I say there are good programs in there, but there are also programs that are limiting, self-sabotaging, or disempowering programs. And the relevance about those is that they will operate continuously until that program changes. And I say, okay, what's the nature of this? I say, well, the first thing we got to program is, when we were very young, is that when it comes to health, we are not responsible. And you go, what do you mean? I say, just think about this. In the average family, when somebody's sick in the family, what is the automatic learning program that a child gets? And that is, mommy's sick, she goes to the doctor. Daddy's sick, he goes to the doctor. And if you're sick, you go to the doctor. And I say, so that's a program. I say, what does it say? It's like it says that when it comes to sickness, I am not powerful, but the doctor is the one that manages my sickness. So I give up power over my health and then go to the truth provided by the doctor. And I put truth in quotes because whatever the doctor says, we have been programmed to buy as truth because they're the professional, we're not. So a doctor's opinion is profoundly important in shaping the character of our lives. I say, why is this relevant? Because right now we're experiencing an epidemic called COVID-19, coronavirus 2019. I say, what about this? I say, it's a flu. No matter how many people keep trying to say that it's something other than a flu, the fact is it's a flu. They want to make it separate because they find that apparently it was more aggressive than a regular flu, so they wanted to put it in its own category. And I say, that's a mistake. It's still a flu. I say, why is it relevant? Because every year we're familiar with the fact that when it comes to wintertime, that's flu season. And every year the medical people suggest that we go get a vaccine to fight the flu. And so we bought into the belief that every year when it starts to get cold out, the flu show up. And that's actually a physical reason. The cold is a physical reason for it. The fact is most flus, when the virus affects you, the virus doesn't grow at body temperature. It grows at a cooler temperature. I say, so where in the body is there any cooler temperature? I say, in the respiratory system, because we're breathing outside air and taking it in. And if the wintertime, the air is much colder. And as we're breathing in colder air, we're cooling the cells of the respiratory tract, dropping them below body temperature. I say, why is that relevant? Because flu viruses proliferate faster at cold temperatures. That's why it's called a cold. Okay, so annual flu season. I say, what does an annual flu season represent? I say, every year a flu shows up and a certain percentage of people die every year, every country, every year, standard. I say, well, let's say in the United States, I say, what's the percentage? I say every year about 0.1% of flu victims die. That's the average mortality rate. So we say, oh, okay, that's standard. And I say, who are the ones that die? And this is important, we'll come back to it. The ones who are already compromised health-wise. I go, what does that mean? I say, older people in nursing homes that are just getting on, that need support, medical, supervision to, take care of them and manage them. And those people that are already sick with something else that has compromised their health system, like cardiovascular disease, diabetes, issues like cancer. These things are already compromising the immune system. So I say, the annual flu, about 0.1% of the people die. I say, who is this? It's not just a random population. 0.1% represents the aged people and those that are already compromised people. So that's a given. And they say, this year is the most aggressive flu ever coming here. And all of a sudden the idea is, oh, this is really bad. And the idea is, oh my God, so many people are going to die. And so there's two different news reports. Let's just pretend I'm giving a news report and this is a regular year. And I go, well, ladies and gentlemen, flu season is coming upon us. It's time to take care of your health and, make sure you're not in a compromised situation. But this is the flu season. Get a vaccine if necessary. And, that's it. And I could say, for this year, I could say, and this year's flu season is a little more aggressive than previous flu seasons because previous flus have been in the population for a long time. And so we built a natural immunity up over flu viruses that come every year. And so that our immune system can deal with them. But the coronavirus 2019 apparently is a newer virus in the field, and most of us have not had previous experience, so that more people are going to get the flu. I say, does that mean more people are going to die? I say, well, yeah, a little bit more, but who are going to die? I said, the same people who were dying last year, but just more of the same group, the aged, the infirmed, the compromised. Okay. So we're given a message, very aggressive. It's coming. Lots of people are going to get it. And then we find out what? Oh my God, the number of people dying this year is a great percentage, maybe 100 times more people dying from this flu. And I say, okay, what does that mean? I say, how do you get mortality rate? Answer is simple. The number of people died divided by the number of people that have the virus. So I said, well, how many people have the virus? I say, those are people that went and showed up at the doctor and said, I think I have the virus and let's get tested. So I say, okay, that number of people divided into the number of deaths gives us a mortality rate, and they're estimating 3 to 4% of the population with the virus dies. I go, okay, first thing, there's a mistake in mathematics. I go, what do you mean? I said, you divide the number of dead people by the number of people that have the virus. And guess what? When they started to test in a place like a city like Invo in Italy, where the first person died, and they really wanted to test the population, they found that a large portion of the population already had the virus. But guess what? 50% of those that had the virus had no symptoms. And I go, so why is it relevant? I say, well, if you have no symptoms, you don't go to the doctor. If your symptoms are mild, you still don't go to the doctor. So I say, who goes to the doctor? The ones that are pushed all the way to an extreme end. I say, so why is it relevant? Well, then the number that you're dividing into the deaths is a small number, because the full number of people that have the virus is much more massive. I say, so why is it relevant? I say, if everyone that actually had the virus was reported, then the death rate would drop way below 1%. I say, yeah, but that's in the normal range. And I go, yeah, but the death rate is 3 to 4%. I say, that's a fake number, because that number doesn't represent everybody who had the virus. It only represents those that showed up to get tested for the virus. So of a very large population, I say, what's the death rate? It comes down to not much more than a regular season. I say, yeah, but what's the problem? I say, because of the media, we are given information that this is a very aggressive and high mortality. And then I say, what is the consequence of this? I say, when we buy this story from our medical experts, we remember we give up. Well, who am I? I'm not a medical person, but the medical person says it. I give up power to them. I take their truth and make it my truth. I say, why is it relevant? Because if I'm getting information that scares me, such as the news media, they're not saying this is a flu season, it's a little more aggressive. They come on and say, this is a flu season, you're going to die. I go, wait a minute. This is a whole different story now. The fear has gotten to not just the group that normally gets the flu and has mortality. Now you're saying everybody's, and that means me. And all of a sudden I say, so why is this relevant? Because fear causes the release of stress hormones. That's what fear is all about. I say, so what do stress hormones do? And I say, they coordinate the body's behavior to deal with a threat. And if the threat is an external threat, then the adrenal system, the stress hormones of the adrenal system, are coordinating the functions of the body. And I go, so what? I say, when we're afraid of a saber-toothed tiger chasing us, the body has to reorganize its resources to escape the fear. I say, how does it do that? I say, well, if you're running from the proverbial saber-toothed tiger, you want all of the available energy in your body to escape that tiger. So the stress hormones shut down functions not relevant to escaping the tiger. I go, like what? I said, well, first of all the visceral functions, the gut functions are what? Health and maintenance, taking care of the body, cleaning the system, purifying it, building it. I say, this is a function of the gut. I say, so what? I say, all functions require blood, because blood is the source of the energy that funds all these functions. So wherever I need the blood is where I'm going to put the energy, because the energy and blood are the same. I say, yeah, but if I'm chasing a saber-toothed tiger, what do I care about my digestive system and the respiratory system in a sense of fixing and maintaining? I say, that takes energy to fix. I said, but I need the energy to run away from the tiger. So stress hormones cause the blood vessels in the gut to constrict. This is where people get what they call butterflies in the stomach. They feel a little queasy. And I go, what is it? I say, it's blood vessels squeezing shut. I say, why should I squeeze the blood vessels shut in the gut? And the answer is, I'm redirecting the flow of the blood, not from the gut doing maintenance, but I'm sending it to the arms and legs because that's where the energy is that I need to run away from that tiger. So I say the first aspect of a stress response is to shut down all functions not associated with running away from the tiger, which includes health, maintenance, repair, filtering, cleaning the body to make it run as a great machine. So the first thing is we shut down growth and maintenance of the body, which is going to open us up to breakdown, number one. But more importantly, and Rob is going to go deeper into this as well, is simply this. The immune system uses a lot of energy. I said, what do you mean? I said, well, if you've ever been sick, maybe you didn't even have enough energy to get out of bed. When you are sick, the draw of energy to support that immune system is so great that it actually could cause us to be weak and to just stay in the bed. And I say, so what's relevant? I said, if you're being chased by a saber-toothed tiger and you have a bacterial infection and you're going to allocate the energy, I say, to priority, I say, the hell with the infection. If the tiger catches me, the infection is really not a problem anymore. So the idea is stress hormones, by definition, shut down the immune system to conserve energy that can be used to run away from the threat. So I say, well, what's relevant? I said, with the corona story, we're put on a fear basis. We're, oh my God, I'm going to die. People are dying. I could die. All of us could die. I go, what is that doing? I say, you're releasing stress hormones. I say, what do stress hormones do? They're going to shut down the growth of your body and they're going to shut down the immune system. Let me give you a fact. How powerful are stress hormones in shutting off the immune system? Listen to this. When surgeons are going to transplant an organ from a donor into a recipient, they give the recipient stress hormones before the operation. I say, why? Because when you put a foreign organ into another person's body, their immune system is designed to eliminate that organ, and it's foreign. It doesn't belong. So I say, so if I want to give somebody a kidney or a heart, I don't want their immune system working full out because as soon as I transplant it, the immune system will try and destroy it. So they give the recipients of transplants stress hormones before the operation. Why? Because stress hormones shut off the immune response so there's not an immediate attack on the foreign transplant. So therapeutically, stress hormones are used to shut off the immune system. So I say, why is it relevant? And the answer is simply this. The moment you start watching the news, the moment you start realizing that your life is in fear and threat and you could die, and all of a sudden I say, yeah, but what's that going to do? And I'm going to say, psychologically, the consequence is you're going to release a lot of stress hormones. That is the consequence of having that belief that, oh my God, I'm going to die. And so I say, so you, all of us in a sense, have released stress hormones. So I say, so why is it relevant? Well, there's two things. One, the annual flu viruses, when they come and people say, oh, it's flu season, get a vaccine or whatever, I never get those stupid things because I know basically this. If I stay healthy, if I eat well, organic, natural food, I take vitamins and supplements, I do whatever exercises to keep my body in good shape, I'm not concerned about the annual flu. I never do, okay? And if I get it, what is it? Well, I'm going to sneeze, I'm going to cough, I might even get a slight fever. I say, what about this year? And I say, well, this year, this virus apparently hasn't been around a lot or before, and therefore we're not prepared in our history or memory of our immune system from previous exposure to deal with this. So it's a little more aggressive. Why? My immune system has to start from zero, essentially, to fight this. It doesn't have a previous memory. So first of all, it's going to be widespread. Why? Because most of us haven't been exposed to this virus before. So a lot of people are going to get it. Then I say, what's going to happen to them? I say, well, they're going to get the flu. It's going to be a little more aggressive than normal. Why? Because the period that it takes your immune system to build up it's going to take longer because it's a new virus than a previously experienced virus. So the symptoms are going to be a little more aggressive. I say, so what? And I say, yeah, the conventional symptoms are the coughing, sneezing, slight fever, and then there's a respiratory problem because these are respiratory viruses, okay? And that's their target. So I say respiratory distress. I say it's even more aggressive than previously. So I'm going to say why? I say people are feeling a much more aggressive response to this virus, and they're getting respiratory distress, and now they're in more fear because, oh my God, I can't breathe well. Ah. I go, why is that relevant? Because the more fear you're expressing, the more stress hormones you're releasing. The more stress hormones you're releasing, the more you're inhibiting the ability to deal with it. Let me calm people firstly with this. Respiratory distress, which what people are afraid about, totally manageable by the medical system. They have everything they need. They have the devices like the ventilators. They've got the drugs that are antiviral. It's not life-threatening. If you don't get treatment, it could be life-threatening. And so then all of a sudden we're put into the fear. What's the news media? Oh my God, the hospitals are overflowing. People are out in the street. They can't get care and blah, blah, blah. And that makes more stress because I was like, oh my God, if I do get sick, I can't even get to the hospital. And now it's an exacerbation of worse and worse. Okay. So the point is this, are you going to die from this flu? No, not really. If you can get the ventilator, even the extreme cases are going to come through. There's no problem. Medicine can deal with it. It's not a problem. I say, who's are dying? I said, well, the same group of people are dying that die every year from the flu. And I say, these were already compromised. They were aged people who are on life support and, nursing, or people who have diseases which are interfering. I say, these are the same people, but there's going to be a few more in that category that will die because of the more aggressive character. So I said, well, is it lots and lots of numbers of people are dying, the numbers that they give us? And I go, fake numbers, because they're not counting the people that up to 50% have the infection, and because their natural immune system is not compromised, because they're relatively healthy people. They're carrying this virus without any adverse effects on their system that they're worried about. That means this large population have this virus. They're not even reporting it because the symptoms are not that great. So we have been creating a situation of fear that possession of the virus is immediately taking you toward death. And it's like, no, it's not really that much different than an annual flu, except that the media is different. The media, in a sense of fear, is warning about, oh my God, you could die. You can't get health care because the hospitals are flooded with people, and you're going to have all these problems. And it goes like, these aren't necessarily real at all, except I believe they're real. I say, so what's the difference? I said, because when I believe something, the function of my mind is to coordinate my biology to deal with the belief. If there's a real saber-toothed tiger chasing me, then damn well glad I have my belief system. There's a tiger, he's dangerous, I'm going to run, put all my energy and go. But what if there's a fake tiger and I'm told there's a tiger back there and there's no tiger back there, but I believe there's a tiger back there? And I said, well, it doesn't make a difference if a real tiger or a fake tiger. If you believe it, you're still going to go through the same response. So I said, well, the flu season on the annual year, nobody gets all excited and crazed. It happens every year. I say, if we just put that same news media out saying it's a little more aggressive this year, but it's all treatable, everything would be cool. Except we're being programmed that this is deadly. And I say, who's dying? And they want to make like, oh, a baby died. I read that. A baby died. I go, what does that mean? Well, then babies could die. And I go, a baby died. I don't even know what the situation in that baby's life was before it died. Was it already compromised? Was it already having a health problem? Because most of the people that died already have health problems. They weren't selected just out of, I was healthy and then boom, I got hit with a virus and I died. That's not true. I say, true or false? It doesn't make any difference. If it's false and you believe it to be true, then that's what you're going to behave with. And so we are being programmed that we are victims, that it's massive, that we have to control our life experiences, being shut down or locked down, don't do this, shut down the business. I say, my God, you know the fear that that's generating? Not just the fear of the flu, but if I'm on a salary and all of a sudden I'm not working for a month, where the heck am I going to get food? Who's going to pay the rent and all this? I say, compound that stress. because that's more stress adding to the same system, debilitating you more and more. So the idea is this: our programs that we have bought into to give up our power to the medical people because they're the professional and we take their words as truth, then we take their words, turn it into our biology, and manifest that truth. The function of the mind is to take the programs in that mind and manifest them. Okay, and I say, why is it relevant? I say, what do you think the placebo effect is? The placebo effect is, I have an illness and the doctor said this medicine I just got is the greatest, hottest new medicine. It's going to fix you and and you believe it. You take that pill, you get well, you find out it's a sugar pill, and we go, oh, the placebo. It wasn't the pill that healed you. Sugar didn't heal you. What healed you? Your belief in the pill healed you. I say, so that's a positive belief. And I say, what about the consequence of a negative belief? I say, the public doesn't hear about that. We always hear about the placebo effect. What is the result of having a positive belief in health? And it enhances your health. But nobody talks about what's the effect of having a negative belief. And I go, God, it's equally powerful to the placebo, but it works in the opposite direction. A negative belief can cause you to have any disease. You can die just from the fear. A belief of fear can kill you. What's the story? It's not the power of positive belief versus negative belief. It's the power of belief. And that belief will determine which direction you're going to go in. Scientists, psychologists reveal that up to 70% of our programs of belief are negative, disempowering, and self-sabotaging programs. The disempowering one, for example, is this: your health is not under your control. Your health is under the control of a doctor. That's what we learned. I say, well, that's disempowering. For what reason? People healed themselves for 100,000 years before there was medical school. They healed themselves through the power of what? Placebo, mind, control. Okay? And yet today we're told, no, your power doesn't exist. Health, you go see the professional. So then all of a sudden, the words of the professional become your compass at that point. If it says that I'm in trouble, then my mind is immediately going to say, oh my God, the professional told me I'm in trouble, and the function of the mind is going to manifest that experience. And so what I really want to draw attention to is simply this. Is the current situation as scary as the media says it is? I say, absolutely not. The mortality rates are completely screwed up because of the mathematics of it. It's not any really, affecting any other population, the same ones that are affected every year. If you are part of that population, if you are compromised in your health, if you are in a nursing home and all that, I say take every damn precaution possible to stay healthy. Everyone. Isolation, but eating naturally good food, taking vitamins and supplements and exercise, that's part of maintaining our health, okay? And people who are compromised should be really sensitive to this because they're already on the weak side, so they need everything they can do to build the system up. But if you're not compromised, then all of a sudden you start to realize is like, am I going to get sick and die? And I say, you might get the flu. You might not even have any symptoms that you got the flu. Or you could have respiratory problems, but that's not lethal because you can get treatment for it. So the bottom line is this flu as scary as the consciousness that we have been provided with? And I go, no. It's a little more aggressive than conventional flu. The symptoms are all manageable. You can take care of your health and that you're not going to die. And that's the important part because it's the fear that causes the stress hormones, which by definition shut down the immune system and open you to a much more aggressive response to the same flu. So some people get the flu, they don't even know they have it. Some people have coronavirus 19 flu, they don't even have a symptom. And there are other people who are in respiratory distress. And I go, what's the difference? And I say, well, basically is how's your immune system and how's your belief system? Because if your immune system is weakened and your belief system is open to the fact that you have no power and that you are likely to have a problem, then you might as well expect to manifest it because the function of the mind is to take the belief and turn it into reality. That's what the mind does. So my effort here is to say the beliefs that you're getting from the media are toxic because they're going to stress you. And even if you were in a healthy place, that stress alone could open the door for not just getting the flu, but even a more serious case of the flu. It's our belief systems. How much do you believe in yourself? How much do you believe in your ability to heal yourself? Which is amazing. We are creators. We create health, and our belief system can cause us to create disease. And the issue is this, then where are your beliefs? Are you living in fear at this moment? Are you concerned that the immediate future might see you get a flu and then you're going to see the picture, I'm going to die? I go, this is a very negative belief system, because the belief system causes the release of chemistry into the blood, stress hormones in this particular case. I say, why is it relevant? Because the chemistry of the blood controls the genetics. That's called epigenetics. As you change your mind, you change the chemistry that's into this blood. And there's a different chemistry between a chemistry of love and a chemistry of fear. The chemistry of love enhances your vitality. The chemistry of fear compromises your vitality. And I say, yeah, but a lot of these are programs. And I say, well, then, oh my goodness, it's not your conscious mind that's creating the problem. It's below consciousness. It's subconscious programs that we bought into. I'm weak, I'm vulnerable, I could get this. And those are the programs that are operating below consciousness that are shaping your life. Now, we've talked about in biology belief for years about the nature that we've been programmed. And as I said, in this particular case, the programming that we got has disempowered us in a medical emergency, because the first thing we did is give up power and say, I buy whatever the professionals tell me. And I say, wow, if they're not telling you the truth, then you could be way down the wrong path of life. You can change these beliefs once you see these beliefs. And the important part about these beliefs is, as the biology belief talks about, 95% of your life is coming from subconscious programming. So your life is a program of your beliefs. And I say, so why is it relevant? I say, well, what are your beliefs? Are you feeling safe and sound and healthy that you can thrive through all of this? Or are you all of a sudden on the edge of, oh my God, I could be a victim, I could die, I could have this serious illness? I say, these are programs, and there are ways to change the programs. The two natural ways of changing the program are self-hypnosis, which is how a child learns programs in the first 7 years. After age 7, we acquire new programs through a process of repetition or habituation, repeating something over and over and over again, and then we learn it, it becomes a habit. And then there's a new way of healing these programs called energy psychology. And on my website, brucelipton.com, I've got about 25 different modalities, different versions of energy psychology. Pretty much they work on the same. One I can talk about the most is the one that I use, the one I'm most familiar with. So I'm not saying the other ones are less effective. I'm just going to say that the one that I've experienced that was most effective in changing my life, because the programs, once I understood what I wanted to change, that was the harder part of what program I want to put in, using a PSYCH-K process developed by Rob Williams, in my experience, was the most rapid way of reprogramming those programs that are not supporting us, programs that are, creating a disability just because of the belief program. And I found that using a PSYCH-K had changed my life so profoundly that I have rewritten programs, the ones that scared me, the ones that I live in fear, I used to live in fear, and now my life is like I live heaven on earth. Why? Because eliminating the programs that disempowered me, of course, led to programs that empower me. And I live by the PSYCH-K process because many of the issues I had in my life, like even writing the book, The Biology of Belief, I couldn't have written it because of limiting subconscious beliefs. And thank God I had, PSYCH-K through Rob. And it was amazing because after changing that belief, the book came out. I started to recognize that my limiting beliefs. And now I am like one of the happiest people around. For what reason? I reprogrammed the fear. I've reprogrammed the bad programming I got from my parents. I'm in a state of honeymoon with my partner Margaret every day, 22 years. Why? Because when my bad program started to show up, subconscious, meaning below conscious, I couldn't see what the programs are because that's the nature of it. Let me just give one story before I turn this over to Rob because it's relevant. And that is simply this. I told the same story for 20 plus years in my lectures, and it's simply this. I call it the story of Bill. I say, You have a friend that you grew up with, you knew your friend's behavior very, very well, and you happen to know your friend's parent. And one day you see your friend has the exact same behavior as their parent, so this excites you, and you got to tell, like, hey, Bill, you're just like your dad. And I say, back away from Bill. The moment you say that, Bill is going to go to ballistic. How do you compare me? I'm nothing like my dad. I don't, what are you, crazy? I go, well, I tell that story, and the audience starts laughing. They start laughing because all of them had that experience. I say, this is the most profound experience that you have to understand, and that is this. Subconscious programs play when the conscious mind is busy, which is 95% of the day, because that's when the conscious mind is busy thinking, which is not looking out your eyes, but looking in your head, because thinking is inside. And so if you are thinking, the conscious mind is not controlling your biology. It's not even looking out at the world. So when you start to think, behavior is automatically controlled by subconscious programs, which is like autopilot. And these programs came from other people. And up to 70% of them are disempowering, self-sabotaging beliefs. So I say, what's the point? We are all Bill. We are living a life where we think consciously, I'm creating what I want, but not recognizing that 95% of our life is not coming from creative wishes, it's coming from the programs. Our life is a printout of our programs. If you are in fear, if you are in struggle, if you are in need and desire and can't get there, it's not because the universe won't give it to you. It's almost inevitably your program does not support that destination. If you're out there now and you're concerned about your health in this COVID-19 epidemic, that's a concern that has been overblown by the media, because the concern is that you're not going to have a flu, you're going to die. And that fear of death disempowers you, because the fear of death says, somebody else take care of me, and you give up your power. And it's time to take that power back, because it's the fear that is killing you, not the biology. The biology is corresponding to whatever that fear is that's coming in. And that's why I really want to turn this over to Rob Williams, for the simple reason is this. In my particular case, is the virus all around me? I go, yeah. Am I afraid? No, I'm not afraid of the virus at all. And if I do get a problem, I know it's handleable and I'm not going to die. Why? Because my subconscious programs have eliminated that fear. That really wasn't true. It just scares me, and scares me shuts me down. And so I really want to turn this over to Rob, because the idea is, well, can I change those beliefs? And the answer, of course I can change those beliefs, but you have to do it in certain ways. It doesn't just happen because I would say, don't be afraid of the virus. That doesn't change anything. It's a program. You have to reprogram. And when you do that, you become empowered to manifest the life that quantum physics just said we have. We are creating this life with consciousness. If your consciousness has negative aspects, then that was what's going to manifest. But you can change all negative aspects of the subconscious using energy psychology, and specifically the one that I'm familiar with, the one that profoundly changed the life that I live, is PSYCH-K. So I would like to turn this over to Rob Williams, because let him describe the nature of this programming and its manifestation. I just give you the biology. You become your program. If your program's not empowering you, then your programs are disempowering you. And if you feel weak and out of power, it's not the world, it's your programming. So, Rob, I look forward to hearing how you can help people about the nature of, if I am in a bad place, can I change that programming? And of course, I know the answer is yes, but I'll let you tell people.
Yeah, you're right, Bruce. The answer is yes, a big yes. In fact, we've been doing that with PSYCH-K for over 30 years. So we have lots of experience to call on through good times and bad times. And one thing that I recognized early on that really excited me was that all these programs you're talking about, many of which are gotten early on in life, before we have a mind that can even discern that this is not our stuff, it's our parents' stuff, it's society's stuff. We run those programs indefinitely until we recognize they're not serving us, and until we find a way, a user-friendly way, hopefully, to make these changes. All of the beliefs that we have that are of that sort, that were learned behaviors, are all rewritable software. It's not read-only memory. It's rewritable. So when you re-perceive your past, that's the key here. Then it changes the effect the past has on you in the present moment, and of course in decisions and thoughts and such that you have about your future. You can create a very different future when you perceive the past differently, and you're not dragging the baggage, the limitations with you, which are like bumps in a road all the time. So the ride is real rough into your future if you have all that baggage you're trying to carry. The truth is, toxic beliefs can be hazardous to your health, and when you think about it in terms of what you've said, Bruce, the immune system itself is our basic, it's the thing that lives between us and well-being or sickness. So you want to make sure your immune system is your best friend and not your worst enemy. And the way to do that, a very important part of the way to do that, in addition to eating well, exercising, paying attention to your life choices and so on, is the psychological, psycho-emotional, and psycho-spiritual component of living on this planet. And your beliefs matter a lot in terms of how you express who you are and the kinds of experiences that you have. You've said it very well, that you create your own reality through the beliefs that you have, because that's the only reality you know. As soon as you wake up enough at the conscious mind level to begin with, to see what's not working for you, and then you can challenge it. Then you can make a change. Then it's worth saying, oh, I want a different belief to be driving my thoughts and choices 95% of the time than the ones that I currently have. I am carrying my parents' beliefs and society's beliefs from an earlier time in your life when you were highly susceptible to programs. As an adult, you get a lot more ability to discern what's working for you and what's not. So, for instance, with respect to the COVID-19 virus, you've made a very strong and very compelling scientific case that it's our fear that is the main contagion. The actual molecules, the actual virus itself, is not as much of a threat as what we think about it being is to us. So, to re-perceive what this is, starting with the conscious information you've given, and then looking at our belief systems about wellness or disease, and like you said earlier, do we really believe that our bodies can manage disease? Are we powerful enough beings to overcome a virus, or are we immediately a victim of that virus, no matter what we think, because the experts have convinced us and told us that the virus is this invisible thing that's going to kill you. So that is where PSYCH-K comes in big time. That's where you can say, all right, I want a set of beliefs that enhance my immune system's capability to keep me well, as opposed to suppress it. And there is such a thing as called an immune competent personality. These are attributes, qualities of human beings that tend to stay well. They don't get sick very often at all. And when they do, it's short and the symptoms are mild. So your mind has a heck of a lot to do with this. And this is all scientifically grounded in a field called psychoneuroimmunology. It's a very long word that means the mind-body connection. But the science is deep, and it has been around for years. And the more we understand about this mind-body connection, the more we can use our minds to manage our bodies. So managing fear, that which we go into almost automatically, so usually that's your first clue, that the beliefs that are creating the fear response are subconscious beliefs, not conscious ones. You listen to what Bruce just said, everybody, and you would say, okay, I get it. That's perspective. I guess I shouldn't be afraid. Well, then why are you still afraid? So what are the beliefs you can't see, the ones below the level of conscious awareness, at the subconscious level, that need to be changed? And that's really the essence of what PSYCH-K has been doing and why it's here on the planet, especially now, is to help people rewrite the software of their lives that isn't working for them, whether it's a health issue or any other issue that they have, grief and loss, personality issues and whatnot. All of that is still driven from the subconscious level of mind and the beliefs that we got when we were too young to know any different. So now we're grown up, big people, but we're carrying around childhood beliefs. And a lot of them are outdated, outmoded, no longer worthy of who we are or who we're becoming. And they're antiquated in terms of our power to take care of our own health as well. We want to work in concert, not as a complement to the medical community. The medical community has lots of gifts that they can give us, and to your doctor, pay attention to what he or she is saying, and know that ultimately your mind has to partner with the doctor's intention to create wellness. So I'm going to suggest that in this particular time, especially when we have the social distancing mantra going on, the healthy thing to do for right now, yes. And the other part of the whole thing is that the fear that's being promulgated in this society worldwide is probably the most dangerous thing for the world population and its health. Even healthy people who should not be in the at-risk group could find themselves there because their fear overrides the knowledge and information they have, and the subconscious beliefs are not supporting them. So one of the things that we can do with PSYCH-K and what PSYCH-K can offer, because its intention is to teach people when it's possible to teach in a physical, in-person way, which isn't right now the case, that PSYCH-K sessions, private sessions, can be done long distance for anywhere in the world. Doesn't matter where you are. There's no such thing as far away from the PSYCH-K as a resource for strengthening your immune system through your belief systems. As a matter of fact, on our website, we have over 400 people that are trained to address issues like health, well-being, self-esteem, grief and loss, and so on with PSYCH-K. Teaching, instead of teaching how to do this, which we do in classes when we can. We can't right now because of the restrictions on gatherings. But we can offer private session work over the phone or over medium like Blue Jeans or Skype or Zoom that are just as effective as in person. So I would urge you to consider that if you want to check to find out what your belief systems are around either immune enhancing or immune suppressing beliefs, that would be a way that you could do it. And that way you begin to feed not only your body good food, but your mind the kind of food it needs. This is not about positive thinking and willpower and all of that. It's far beyond that. This is directly teaching people, or in this case, facilitating changes at the subconscious level that can enhance your immune system and change your life in a positive way. We have both this group of 400 people listed from around the world who speak multiple languages. So if your primary language, native tongue is not English, we teach in about and also can do private sessions in maybe a dozen different languages. You go to the PSYCH-K website and click on private sessions, you'll see this list of the 400 people that are on the list who are qualified to help you in this way. And also, there's a list, if you click on the list that says instructors, the PSYCH-K instructors, there are a little over 30 of them around the world that right now have extra time to do private sessions. Oftentimes, you can't get a private session with an instructor when they're so busy teaching, but right now, they have some extra time and they can also assist you. So the resource is there. The opportunity to avail yourself of it is now. And of course, there couldn't be a better time to do that.
Well, that is very beautiful. I'm filled with joy to listen to both of you and to hear all this, and more than hear, feel all this love and all this hope of, yes, it is a trying time, but we need a lot of this. So to close, we just want to let our audience know that we're going to be posting here the links where you can find the information that we've been talking about. Information about both your books also, which are very illustrative of what we've talked about today, and where to find a facilitator, because also we're offering free mini sessions for this particular time so that people who are in fear can transform that, and we want to offer that to the world. So thank you so much, both of you.
You're welcome, and much love to all of you listening. Be well.
Absolutely. It's all in our mind, and we can create a lot better than this.
Thank you.